the farther you get away, the more speed's important than line per se. And that's what we're about to work on next, how we can get some better speed control. Make sense?
I've got no speed control, so I need all the help I can get, so I appreciate it.
Let's do it.
I don't know what's going to be more challenging, this drill or learning how to read a clock. I don't know if you know this, but I homeschooled. We didn't do clock management. We didn't learn how to tell time.
And they're all digital now.
I know. Well, my mom was thinking ahead, so good for her.
That's it.
Good for Leah.
What's up, y'all? So today, we're gonna tackle Andrew's putting, the third and final benchmark of breaking 90. We gotta get the ball in play, we gotta get the first wedge on the green, we gotta make the putts. And really, it's not about making more putts, it's making less 3-putts. And so today, we're gonna give him some drills to work on line, and to work on speed, so that way we minimize our 3-putts, maximize our lag putting, and make the ones that matter the most from inside of like 5 and 6 feet. So Andrew, let's get ready to do this thing. You have any questions before we get rolling?
I just hope I don't have any more quadruple putts, if that's even a thing. Quadruple putts, 4 putts?
Unfortunately, it is now.
Yeah.
Let's get to it.
Let's go.
All right, so our first drill, we're gonna take my trusty metal ruler. If you know anything about me on Instagram, you know for a fact I love a metal ruler for putting. So what this is gonna do for Andrew is gonna give him a great idea of how well can he start the ball on his line, and what can we do to help him get the ball rolling down the line and see how many in a row big man can get down the ruler, because that's kind of part of the back of the drills. We want to work on some pressure building situations. We got to make it when it matters the most. Now, if you don't have a metal ruler, this thing is easy to find at any home department, home improvement stores. They're $10, cheap investment in your putting game, believe me. So what we did is we found a pretty straight putt for Andrew on the putting green. Gonna drop said ruler just on that line. And now you're gonna take the ball, and there's a little hole cut in the top of the ruler, and we're gonna put that ball in the hole. So Andrew, when you set to hit this putt, the ruler has given you what a straight putt looks like. So when you set up now, you'll know that your putter is square to the hole, and now we can get a good feel of how well do you start it on line. Okay. So let's hit a couple putts and let's see what it looks like. Okay, keep going. So a miss to the left means our face is a little left, right? Let's control the face a little bit more up the target line. There we go, there's one. Ooh. So we're starting to create a pattern. So we are creating a little pattern to the left. We're getting the face to close a little bit so the ball's rolling off the ruler to the left side. You were about to say something about the golf course scenarios?
Yeah, I do feel like I typically, which doesn't indicate what I've been doing here, but I feel like typically I push my putts if I do anything.
Right.
And so what kind of advice do you have for me whenever I'm pushing putts? I know I just obviously closed off my face there on those last two, but what are your thoughts on that?
So both of them kind of come from how you release the putter, right?
Okay.
And so you're very stiff and rigid when we hit our stroke. So what I want you to try to work on is, let's take your left hand off the putter for a minute and hit it with just your right hand. And I want you to let your right hand kind of, look at this for a second, flex and extend, right? So we're not flipping it, so we're not gonna do this, right? We're just gonna extend and flex to straight and work on this for our stroke and our downswing, right? As opposed to trying to manipulate it with our shoulders as we hit our putts, right? Think about, and this is a great idea for all you putters out there in the world, if you were gonna sign your name, you wouldn't lock your arm out straight and sign it with your shoulder. You'd be using all the little muscles in your wrist and your elbow as you try to write your name down the board, right? Same thing here. If we got a very fine motor movement we're trying to create, we wanna use all the joints in our arm, and our wrist, and our elbow, and our shoulder to hit these putts. It's a very common misconception is that you gotta make your perfect pendulum and then try to rock it this way. Doesn't match everybody. So let's see what happens when you just try and roll it with just your right hand. So when we're gonna try and work his hands, go ahead and hold the putt, right? I want you to try and feel your hand loading the putter up more. You feel that with your hand and not so much keeping this arm straight, trying to raise the arc up, right?
Okay.
We wanna feel this hinge, and it doesn't have to hinge a truckload, right? We just gotta feel a little motion here. It's just like if you were gonna try and toss the ball with your right hand, right? It wouldn't just be solely this, right? You'd have a little flick, right? A little toss with that right hand, right?
Is that what like the feeling portion of putting's considered?
Sure.
Okay.
So obviously that was huge, but online. So we got a better start there. It was just too big of a stroke, right? So
apparently I can't think of two things at once. So.
There you go.
Okay. That feels a lot better.
Yeah, let your hands kind of do the job. There you go, good. And that might have been a big stroke for a 4-foot putt. There you go, can you get to 3?
Oh, no clutch chain.
So we've identified that he needs to get a little wristier, which is something you don't hear in putting a lot, but we need to get his hands involved so he gets better feel and control the putter face. And so the ruler's giving him a little idea that he'll tend to, when he's trying to do the putt well, he'll pull it a little bit. On the golf course, he probably pushes it onto his line a little bit more. So now we're gonna get into some more lag style putts where we're gonna start to work on pace and speed control, because this is gonna work on his line, and inside of about 10 feet, line's really, really important. When you start to go farther down range and farther on your putts from 30, 40, 50, 60 feet, you can miss it a foot to the right, but as long as your pace is well, you might just be a foot right. If you miss it a foot right from 4 feet, you ain't got a chance, right? So the farther you get away, the more speed's important than line per se. And that's what we're about to work on next, how we can get him some better speed control. Make sense?
I've got no speed control, so I need all the help I can get. So I appreciate it.
Let's do it. So I call this drill the Goldilocks drill. It's not because you got these long, flowing yellow locks. It's okay. But
I could use a haircut, though.
We know that mullet's coming. So the Goldilocks drill is based on just like the storybook. You're going to hit your first putt. Wherever your first putt ends up, whether it's short or long, okay, that's where we're going to start with. If the second putt, you're trying to miss it on purpose on the opposite side of the hole. So if you're 3 feet short, I want one 3 feet long. Then guess what the last putt is?
Right in the middle.
Right in the middle, right? Because right in the middle is the hole. So now we're starting to develop a speed. And as you get better with this drill, my expectation for you is to tighten up how short and how long the ball is rolling out. So the first few, we might be 5 feet short, 5 feet long. And as we progress and get better, it might be closer to a 2 feet, 1 foot, something like that, right? The goal being is, whatever you end up on one side of the hole, I want the opposite on the other side, because we're not trying to make it. It doesn't matter, right? Now it's just learning how to control speed. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So let's hit our first putt, and let's see what you get. Oh, so we're gonna call that one long.
Okay.
I want 3 feet short. Perfect. So now the next putt has to be between the first and the last. Since we had a lip out, I'm gonna give you a little breathing room, okay?
Okay.
But now we can't be shorter than the second ball. We can't be long of the first. Okay. That's pretty good speed, right? So that was pretty good speed. We're gonna do the drill again. What we're gonna work on now is we're gonna do a next evolution with it. Since it was kind of easy for him, he obviously knows he's gonna have to tighten up how short and how long he's going, but that's not something you're gonna get done in 5 minutes. That's gonna take practice, because unfortunately I can't tether feel to your brain. So
I
we're
wish you could.
I know, I'm sorry. But so now the next evolution of the drill is if you're high left, right? So you're long and left. So if you think about it on a clock, you're in between 9 and 12. The next putt has to be between 6 and 3. So it's not just opposite on long and short, but left and right.
I don't know what's going to be more challenging, this drill or learning how to read a clock. I don't know if you know this, but I homeschooled. We didn't do clock management. We didn't learn how to tell time.
And they're all digital now.
I know. Well, my mom was thinking ahead, so good for her.
That's it.
Good for Leah.
Let's get into the next phase of this drill.
Radford.
Mother Radford, thank you for the help. Now we're going to the second phase of this drill. Good speed. It's tracking. Oh, he made it.
You just need like a 10-minute lesson from Matt, and you'll be sinking 30-footers in no time.
Continue onward, sir. Great effort. So that happens in this drill. That's okay. You just start again. So first putt right here. So we're a little long, a little right. So short left. All right. So now we do the last putt. Last putt's got to be between those two. If he does it, it should thread right inside that first ball and go in the jar. Ooh, did he hit it hard enough?
Oh, hit it.
But it's in our wheelhouse, and he has a relatively easy tap in for his second putt. So we've identified a glitch in his stroke, and we want to make sure we're using a little more right hand action so he could feel out speed better in his line, because it's really hard to control everything when you got your unit bouncing around, moving around, and sometimes his chest will kind of open up, and that moves his path in the face a lot in his putting stroke. So what I want you to do here for me, Andrew, is I want you to take just your right hand, hold it down where you normally go, right? Go a little bit lower, that's about where your right hand, there you go. And he's gonna try and keep all of this still. Now just use your right hand to hit the putt. Yeah, there you go. Hinge it first, extend it through, good. And we're gonna hit 20 putts a day doing just that, to get a feel for what he wants to do. So go ahead and set up again, let's hit a putt. We're gonna keep this kind of locked in. Good, ooh, not bad. So you'll notice that his shoulders stay a lot more still. We're not moving this around as much. We're getting more use out of his arms. He can feel the shot better with his hands. Good. Ooh. And now when he does this on occasion, he'll tend to open the face a little bit. So we're going to try and control the club face some. I feel like it stays a little more shut while you do it. Let's try it again. There you go. It's as easy as that. So now he puts his left hand on the golf club. His left hand plays passenger to his right hand feel. Now we're not trying to flip it. We're just trying to extend the right hand back a little bit and go to straight. And then he can use the little bit of his shoulders that he needs to use to go for longer putts. But on these shorter ones, we want to feel it in the hands a lot more than up in our chest, trying to make that work. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Cool. How does it feel when you go with your right hand versus your other way back when you used to do it?
It's still taking a little bit to get used to, but honestly, I feel like I have so much more feel over the putter. Also making sure that I'm cognizant of where my club face is throughout the range of motion of my putting. I think it's going to be a huge help. Hopefully I will minimize my 3 and unfortunately 4 putts from here on out.
Well, I have no doubt that we'll be able to do that.
Yeah.
I think now it's just a matter of, again, we can't quite tether what good feel is, so he has to go out and put some work, go and put some practice in. Luckily, if he does the Goldilocks drill, we work on some starting lines. Even if we don't hit a perfect putt, if he gets really good at hitting the 4-footers in, we'll see how many in a row Andrew can make down the ruler in the future to see how many he can put that. He'll come back to us and tell us what he did and see if we can get, you know, I have a 14-year-old that did 96, so we'll see if he can keep up with that.
Steph Curry at putting.
Not yet, but maybe. So if you liked what you heard about in this video, right, and you want to use some better putting drips and drills, give me a shout. I can help you guys out with more videos like this, with more drills and great tips. Make sure you check out my boy Andrew and Ostrich and Zach Radford, and we're going to keep bringing out some great content to you guys. This man's on a quest to break 90.
We got it.
Oh, yeah.
I believe in us.
For sure.
Let's
Air
go.
fist, boom, winning. See ya.